Welcome, everybody. John Peters here from the Main Street Business Alliance, and welcome to The Main Thing. This is a podcast that's just starting out. We're talking about small businesses, marketing of small businesses, things to do right, things to avoid, and all those things. So we'll be bringing experts, we'll be bringing business owners, we'll be bringing all the people that have anything to do with small business on Main Street here in Hackensack, and frankly, Main Street anywhere across the USA. So today, I thought it'd be great if we brought Roberto from Sunmed. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
So, let me tell everybody why I asked you to come in. So, as part of my job as the executive director of the Main Street Business Alliance, I walk up and down Main Street, and then frankly, a little beyond it in every different direction, right? And every place I walked into had one of your business cards.
Yes.
Every single place. And I'm like, this guy's covering more ground than I cover, right? So, and then when I met you, you told me about your walks on Main and beyond.
Yes.
In Hackensack. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about how important you feel that was, even before you opened.
So this is our second location, and with our first location, we opened so fast, we didn't really have a time to let everybody know we were coming.
Right.
By the time we were telling people we were coming, we were there. So we knew we had to give more leeway this time. So we opened in November, I would say at least September. We started walking up and down Main Street to every business. We introduced ourselves. Hey, how you doing? I'm Roberto. This is Toni. We're opening Sunmed. This is what we do. Please, here, take our card. And, we'd love to work together going forward in the future.
Yeah.
So then that way, now everybody in the town knows who we are. So if any customers come in and say, hey, do you know, right up the road, Sunmed. But also, we want to make sure that our new community, because we're going to be part of Hackensack, knows we're there. So we gave out samples, we gave out flyers, we talked to anybody that had questions. We educated people on what we had. So that way, by the time we opened the doors, they knew who we were.
Yeah.
We weren't telling people 2 months later.
Well, no, I found the whole strategy really, really effective, and I commend you on it, because as I talked to people up and down Main, and people say, "Oh, what's opening?" and I would mention you guys, they would, "Oh, yeah, that's the guy that came in with his fiance, and they're opening this place." By the way, Toni's your lovely fiance; she's awesome,
yes.
And she's got a really long history with Hackensack. I mean, she's born and raised, and right.
Yep.
So that's what you did. You walked up and down. Tell us about the location, right? Because you picked a certain place. And first of all, let me rewind a bit.
Sure.
Tell me about the store. So, CBD.
So the franchise, Sunmed, is the #1 brick and mortar vendor of CBD from hemp in the world.
Okay.
We have 450 stores throughout the country and a handful in Europe. Do we wish we owned them all? Yes, that would be great. But Toni and I, we own 2, one in Rochelle Park and Hackensack. The founder, Rachel Quinn, she has Crohn's disease. So what happened was she knew that hemp helped with that. So what she did was she created a tincture, one product, to help with that. Now we have over 150 products that help relieve inflammation, anxiety, insomnia. Some people have told us that they actually feel less depressed, and it helps with so many different aspects under the umbrella of hemp, of inflammation and anxiety and all that, that it has a huge, a very diverse way of taking it and using it.
Right. So I'm interested, on your walks, you walk in, you say who you are, you talk about the store. What was the reaction from the community on CBD? Did anybody really even know it? Because I've told you straight out. I didn't. Yeah. I've heard it 50 billion times, but I didn't know what it was, really. So were you also educating while telling people about it?
So some people said, "Oh yeah, I know what that is," and they would either be correct or incorrect. So which was fine, but we pride ourselves in educating, because once again, what is the point of buying something when you don't know what's in it, what it does, or how to take it, right? So we would educate, but not only would we educate, we'd give samples.
Okay.
Here you go. We are 100% confident in our product. Try it out, and then that way you can judge if you feel it's worth it. But we definitely did that.
Well, listen, if anybody does even the slightest bit of research on Sunmed, it's a big legit. I mean, there's no doubt about it, right? And when I walk into your store, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, and that just it's gorgeous.
Thank
But I want to focus on all the things that you've done that you've maybe learned from having two places, or to your point, you didn't get a chance to do it as well as you hoped the first time, so you doubled down on the second one. But I want to get your opinion on what do you think are some of the main things that small business owners miss or forget or don't know or underestimate? Because you came in, you did it right. Even just that walk. I mean, from now on, whenever I tell anybody, hey, you're going to open up on Main Street, you better make sure that, for 45 days or 30 days before, at least, you're walking up and down and meeting everybody. But what do you think some of the things are that small businesses miss?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I would say number one thing you should have is a passion for what you're doing, right? If you don't believe in what you're doing, then the people that come through your door are going to kind of feel that and not believe in you or your product.
Right.
You got to definitely love what you do and want to wake up and do it every day, right? So the passion. Also, the drive. Are you sitting in your business sitting? Or are you getting up and doing what needs to be done? Are you going out and meeting the businesses? Are you standing outside, maybe handing out free samples or whatever it could be? Also, are you actually building partnerships with other businesses, right? Because as a business owner, a lot of business owners, they are marketing, they are advertising, they are the accountant, they are doing everything. But another business who might have been around a little longer might be able to assist you with that.
Sure.
And then you could just ask them, hey, what do you do? And then you can kind of create the synergy between you guys where I'm helping you and you're helping me. Also, the partnership of, hey, I have 100 followers, you have 100 followers, now we have 200 followers.
Right.
I've seen.
Well, let me jump in there. So I mean, every business, every startup that I've built, and a couple built and sold, I've built with the help of strategic partners, and it makes people really nervous. And I've always said, if you're sitting in your office struggling with something, I guarantee you, within a few miles from you or whatever the radius is, there's someone sitting in a very similar office with the exact same problem and trying to figure out how to work it out. And if you partner together, you can do it more effectively, more cost effectively, more efficiently, with less risk and all that. And frankly, a lot more fun if you think about it, right? And I think that's the great part. So, I mean, you got together and you had some event that we went to with Iconic Coffee.
Yes.
Right? And you brought other people, and it was just, hey, come meet each other. And by the way, here's some vendors that work for us. Maybe they work for you. Tell me about the thought process there.
So when we were, excuse me. So when we were first opening, we want to get our name out there. So we signed up for events, a food truck, whatever it may be.
Right.
So the way we work it is, usually Toni and I go. We'll do the event, and when it's a little quiet at the table, I disappear. I start talking to any vendor that has anything to do remotely with what we're involved with, so wellness, and then we start kind of working on the partnerships to say, hey, listen, you have this product, we have this product. Why don't you come to the store and we'll do an event, maybe a vendor day or something where you can come and just sell. We've done that to the point where some vendors make more than us, which is amazing because that's what we want.
That's the point, yeah,
right?
Sure, yeah.
And since we're blessed to be franchised, we want to pass that knowledge on. Like, hey, this is what you can do. Because when you're a small business owner, you don't have a marketing team, you don't have a real estate team, you don't have any of that. So we're very fortunate for that. So we want to share that with people who might not know about that.
Right, yeah.
And we give them little tips and advices. This is what you could do to help grow and be more exposed.
Right.
But we make sure that we're partnering with people where we can create that synergy of we're feeding off each other, and now we're going to keep growing. So why not grow together?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the other thing that I've heard you say not because you were in front of me or anything, is that when we were with a business owner whom shall remain nameless, who was complaining about something, you're just like, hang on a minute, like, quit complaining, right? So what is, and I've heard you speak to them. So what is some of the advice that you give to some of the small businesses when it comes to that?
So the things I tell business owners are the things that either we might have missed or failed on, or the things that a lot of us forget. We are the captain of the ship. If it fails, it's our fault.
Right.
What did you do? What didn't you do? Did you reach out to other people? Did you reach out to the Main Street Alliance? Did you reach out to the chamber? If you didn't, then you can't complain. Or there was an event and, oh man, such and such and this happened. Oh man. Did they ask you? Yes. Did you do it? No. Then you can't complain.
Yeah.
You rise to the occasion and make sure you get your business out there. A lot of businesses think, well, if I spend $100, I need to make 1,000. Yeah. You might spend 2,000 and make 66, but the thing is what did you do with that time? That's why we meet other vendors, so that way we can get more exposure for each other.
Right, and eventually it pays off if done properly, and that's what I tell everybody. I've been walking in some of the businesses helping with their marketing, and I would suggest something, and they'll say, "Oh, I tried that back in 2017." I'm like, "Well, hang on a minute. First of all, you can't write off email marketing because you sent an email out in 2017 and it didn't work as well for you. So you have to keep trying it. You have to do all those things. But more importantly, I really appreciated your attitude with that. Like, listen, not everything's getting knocked out of the park. Somebody not too long ago said to me, like, well, you're doing really well here. Everything's great. You better be prepared for some failures. And I said, okay. I don't really call them or look at them as failures. They're learning experiences for me. So if I make it again, that same mistake, that's a failure. Right? But having tried it, and there's that whole Michael Jordan thing. He missed 9,000 shots, right? Well, that's what it is. You got to keep trying things. But it really boils down to the attitude while you're doing it. Because if you're trying it begrudgingly, I'll sit with someone and say, okay, let's map this out like this. And they're like, oh, that looks like a lot of work. Well, yeah,
it is.
Sure, it is. It's running a business. I mean, this is no joke. Now, you've had some benefits. You keep saying you were able to call corporate, which, frankly, I think is the main reason to franchise anything. If you're looking at it, it's not for everybody, but it sure does provide some benefits. But the fact that you're going out of your way to share those with the other businesses in the neighborhood, I think is really, really great. But what would you say are some of your biggest challenges? I think I might know the first one you might say, but what are some of the, as a small business owner coming to the area, what were some of your biggest challenges?
Every business is the same thing, exposure, getting customers, right? But, John, I know you have the best pizza in the world. I've tasted it. It's amazing. Nobody knows you're here. But also, you are not going out to tell people that you're there. You have to do that.
Right.
Is every advertising, marketing, social media post or anything going to work? Not necessarily. But you got to keep trying it, right? So, yeah, one of our challenges is letting people know who we are, what we are, and what we stand for.
Right.
Because I've had people where I stand outside now, right? And we've done it before, but I stand outside and I give out samples.
Sure.
And then people say, "Oh, I know what you are. You're marijuana." No, we're actually hemp, and this is what we do, and this is who we are.
Right.
Let me come in. Let's go inside. Let's talk for a minute.
Right.
They'll come in and they'll, "Oh man, I thought." Now I got their attention. But there's always challenges. But the thing is, what works for one doesn't work for others. Social media posts might work for X business, but not for Y.
Sure.
So you have to try everything, but also make everything yours. Because if you're just copying and pasting, that might not. You're literally being a shadow of someone else sometimes.
Yeah. When I see someone's social post and it's just it's right out of some system they used and it's a template with a stock image and you don't even see their logo and it doesn't really fit what they're saying. It's just it's a complete forget lost opportunity, waste of time really.
Yeah.
But make it your own is critically important. You know, what I loved about what I saw in you as you were opening is that every time I asked you a question about what it takes to work out well, you pretty much had the answer. So you're right on top of it. In other words, I've walked into some other business and said, hey, you sell these widgets or you sell those slices, or it doesn't really matter what it is. How many of those do you need to sell to cover your monthly rent? And they look at me like it was the stupidest question on the planet, whereas it's really the first question you need to be able to answer.
Yes.
And we'll talk in other episodes about, you know, evaluating rent and all that kind of stuff. But so let's break that down into two different parts. So talk about the location. Tell me, because you picked a particular location. So tell me what thought process went in there.
So we did want a location with a lot of foot traffic.
Okay.
We're closer to the courthouse. We are near some restaurants, but we also love the location itself. Our first store is 1,100 square feet.
Right.
So we do inside events, you know, candle making, yoga, meditation, things like that. With this location, it's only maybe 750 square feet in the store.
Right.
But now we have a backyard, which is
beautiful backyard.
Yeah, it's over 1,000 square feet just for the backyard,
Right.
which is now we could do outside events. So now we could do outside yoga, outside candle making, and then enjoy the area, the weather. But our products are small; they go on the shelf.
Right.
A bottle is about that big. Do we need 3,000 square feet? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I do know a lot of businesses, they see a huge area and they're like, oh, I'll take it. But the thing is that now that rent it's outrageous.
Certainly, if you have just sustaining it, right?
Exactly.
Just because you can cover the rent one a couple of months, it doesn't mean you can cover it for the next 5 years.
And then you're only using half the area,
Right.
right? Half of the space. So all that space is just being paid for nothing. It's
Right.
storage, and you probably don't even use that much storage. So the thing is know your business and grow into it. It's better to say this is too small, we need a bigger location,
Right.
than we spent 5 years here and now we got to downsize
Right.
and leave. So it's always better to grow into the area and into your location.
So how much help did you have from corporate in this case?
Okay.
About the selection of the place, or how much it's a franchise. They
Yes.
get to decide a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me how that worked with Sunmed.
So with Sunmed, there are some requirements on the areas. They have to meet certain criteria. So with that, we actually had to kind of convince them, because Sunmed is a Floridian company, so they're not too familiar with New Jersey.
Okay.
But here's the best part. They have faith in the owners. So if an owner says, listen, I understand, but we know this area and we know it could work,
Right. Yeah. Sure.
they'll definitely help us. They did do some numbers and they said, okay, well, from what you're telling us, we can see with the projection it'll grow into that.
Right.
There was another location we were interested in. We called them up and we said, hey, look, there's this location we would like to
Open. Yeah.
No, because you have a lot of car traffic, but they're passing you at 45 miles an hour.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no foot traffic. We honestly feel it's not going to be successful. So they will come back and give you the numbers. And that's a blessing, because a lot of companies, or I should say a lot of small businesses don't have that. Oh, let's just go here, open up. There's nobody there.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you say that, because one of the services that we're offering now to people who want to move into Hackensack is a complete estimation, and we have some software that we use, some proprietary things, some other data, just to show them what's happening outside that store. How many people walk by it? How many people drive by it? How's the parking? You have to consider everything.
Absolutely.
And I'm finding that, unfortunately, a lot of small businesses don't. They sort of go, oh, I want to go there, and that's what's available, so I'm going to open it. It's clearly too big. It's clearly doesn't have enough parking for what they want. It clearly is so many different things. And then there's the whole inside the store thing. I mean, you walk into your place, I mean, it's well organized. And again, I know it's a franchise, but frankly, it's spotless. It's organized. You greet everybody, whether it's you or Toni, right? And I've been in cases many cases in your place where someone walks in and you're like, "Hey, Fred, how you doing? Come on in," or, hugs and all that kind of stuff. And not because you grew up together, but because you have a real relationship with the customer. And I've always said people do business with people. They don't do business with companies, right? And I think you and Toni have really grasped onto that, and it shows. It's really a big, and I've told you I'm writing this book, and there's a whole, I've written another on strategic partnerships, but in this one, where it's all about growing small business, and there's a section about community.
Absolutely.
I use you guys as an example, as one of the poster children, because I've been really, really impressed with how, you know everybody's name. It's like you've been here for 20 years already, right?
Well, the thing is I don't want to see you for 2 years and just say, "How you doing, sir?" The same thing. "Oh, here you go. Bye." And not know. I want to say, "Hey, John, how's the missus? How's the dog? Is your kid still sick? How they feeling? Did they pass that test?"
Right.
Because I'm going to see you for years, hopefully.
Right.
And for you to just say, "Oh, there's this guy," I'd rather you say, "Oh, Roberto,"
right.
and know me, and me be able to say, "Hey, John, do you need the same thing, or you want to try something different?" Because once again, it's the community.
Right.
I might not live here, but these are our people.
Right.
This is where we are, and we want to help our people. We want to make sure that people are sleeping better, feeling less anxious, able to focus better, go to school, go to work, because that's what's going to help the community.
Right.
Right. And if we do well, hopefully the next business does well, and so on, especially if we work together. And then if all the businesses are doing well, Hackensack does well.
No doubt. Thankfully, so we just got some amazing press recently in the Record and on the Chronicle and a whole bunch of other places. And Main Street in Hackensack it's coming, right? There's so much. Okay, granted, there's thousands of new residents in the new buildings. There's so much activity happening, and the way you've come in, and you pick the right location, you have the right attitude, you have a really decent product. The place is spotless, right? I go down my checklist, and you guys are checking every one.
Thank you.
So that's just so critically important. I see people just come in. There's Marty's Burgers opened. There's kimchi cuisine is opening, and these are pretty tiny places. People are like, "Oh, how does that work?" But go ahead, walk into Marty's. They're packed all the time. And I think there's 5 tables in there that really only hold 1 or 2 people each, right? But packed, and that's a third location for them. There's some really great things happening on Main Street, and it's because of successful businesses like you that get everybody together and come on this podcast when the Main Street Business Alliance asks you to. When you show up at other events, you're always involved. I've never heard a no out of you. So that part is critically important. But how do you is that maintainable? Is that just part of your normal operation now? Is that that's how it is? So you said you have another location, right? You're doing the same thing over there. This is how you do things, right? This is
what we do. This is who we are. So it's not like we have to try. This is just what we do. But the thing is that we need to always be open to different ideas, right? So there's an event coming up. I was told there's an event coming up. So we're going to make a couple of 100 samples so we can give out to people so that way they can try it.
Sure.
Is it our event? No, but we're always trying to join.
Right.
So that way not only can we get recognized, but that way we're actually helping the event because one of the worst things to do is throw an event and no vendors come up. So we want to help everybody become successful.
Right. Yeah, no, well, listen, it's working, right? You're beating your projections. Well, that part is good. Everything has been great. So as we start to wrap up,
okay,
what didn't I ask you that I should have? What something that you were going, okay, I'm going to go talk to John on this new podcast tomorrow, and I got to make sure I mention X. because there's always something. And then every time, whether it's this or some other interview I do or something, you get a call 2 hours later and I go, you know what, I forgot to tell you. So I'm sort of preempting that phone call.
Okay. You know what? I would say this. I think we covered the bases. The attitude of the business owner. They need to be passionate about what they do. They need to get out there and show who they are to other businesses and residents. Consistent drive. Now, there is one thing I will say, that one thing I noticed in most businesses that we don't do. We don't ask for Google reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We feel embarrassed. Most people feel embarrassed.
Okay.
Now, the thing is that we're in an age where social media and technology is running everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
John Peters cookies. Oh, man, I heard of them. Let me Google them. 12 Google reviews. Oh, they must have just opened. 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with that.
Right.
Most people would pass it. You probably do have the best cookies in the world or whatever. So
For the record, I don't make any cookies.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I usually recommend to most, or every business owner, I should say, I converse with, because it's something that we do, is don't feel ashamed to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, we love to reward the people who leave the review right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John, are you happy with our service? You are? That's amazing. Are you happy with our product? You are. Thank you. Would you be willing to give us a Google review?
Right.
You would? I love that. John, you know what? I would love to reward you with a little something if you leave it right now, before you leave, and just show me, and I'd love to reward you with X or Y.
Yeah, right. So you're not buying it. You're
Not
saying
buying
because
it.
you've asked all those preliminary questions.
Exactly.
You're really happy because they wouldn't have answered yes if they weren't.
There's
most
a
likely.
difference between bribing and asking. It's where's the monetary first, right? You know, hey, officer, thanks for not giving me the ticket.
Right.
Oh, man, I greatly appreciate it. Can I buy you a cup of coffee?
Right.
I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
If you don't give me
Please
the
don't
ticket.
give me the ticket. So ask for the review. Don't be ashamed, because the thing is that's how our businesses thrive. That's how people find us. We're in Rochelle Park. There was a store in Boonton, and unfortunately, because of COVID and things, they closed. We started getting these calls. Hey, you're Sunmed, right? Yeah. Oh man, we need the product. Great. Where are you? Oh, we're in Boonton. How did you find us? Oh, well, we Googled CBD near me. Oh, you're 45 minutes away from me. Oh, well, we went through rating.
Right.
And we were on the top because of the Google reviews, because we ask. So once again, ask for the Google review. Ask for your customers, for your community to join you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, everything. Reward them. Maybe not all businesses can afford it, but maybe do a rewards program, an incentive.
Sure.
Right? We need to get customers to come back.
Well, it's interesting that you used the term join me versus sign up or follow.
I like join because we're all together, right? We're all together. We're going to be all there together. Follow is, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I just feel
fairly
like
passive as compared to what you're saying.
I would love people to join us, right? On what we're doing, on our journey, because we're all going through this journey.
Yeah. And by the way, I believe the figure is 83% of people, if they were happy with your service, would leave a good review if you just ask them for
Absolutely.
it. And once they walk out that door, you can hand them all the little cards you want. Then life happens when that door closes, right? So good luck. Unless it was the crazy exceptional and they can't wait to go home and write a review. Those are normally the bad ones. Right?
Yes.
So people are that motivated when it's unfortunately when it's a negative one. But so many people would leave a positive one if you just ask them. And the way you suggested it, where with all the preliminary questions of did you enjoy it? Did you like the service?
Yeah.
Did it sound like you like this product? Then, therefore, would you leave a good? It's a great way to do it. And it's a very honest way to do that. Okay, so we're coming to a close.
Yes.
Give me a tip. What tip can these small business owners, either here or anywhere in the United States, frankly, what's one of the things that you see as you're out shopping?
So the I'm sorry culture
Tell me
I
about
feel
that.
like we say I'm sorry too much. So if I'm sold out of a product, you came in for it. Most businesses would say, John, I'm sorry we don't have it. It's a good thing I don't have it. I sold out. So many customers came in to buy it. So instead of saying I'm sorry, hey John, at the minute, I don't have it, unfortunately. But thank you for inquiring and understanding that I don't have it. But I'm gonna make sure that I get that to you.
Oh, great.
Or even if I have you waiting, instead of saying I'm sorry it's late. You know what, John, it's a little late, but thank you for your patience. I greatly appreciate it. So to replace I'm sorry with thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding. Because now what happens is you have your team and they're constantly saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's kind of crippling to the...
It is. So what you've done is you've
To
taken
you.
it and you've turned it upside down.
Absolutely,
and
it's a
turned it from
positive thing.
to a positive.
And plus, when you're waiting for 30 minutes and I come and I say, oh, I'm sorry. Some people...
Yeah, you're not really.
They get a little more frustrated.
Sure,
You know what? It's been a 30-minute wait. I do apologize. Thank you. We greatly appreciate your patience.
Right.
So the thank you instead of the I'm sorry.
Oh, great. Well, okay. So let's leave it there. That was really,
Absolutely.
really great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Roberto.